and reality is called action. That's right. The distance of dreams and reality is called action. And our guest today on Communication TV, Cynthia Kuehn, is the epitome of a woman who makes her dreams come true by taking daily action towards her dreams. Hello and welcome everyone to Communication TV. I am your host here of this show. Here we connect with other entrepreneurs. We hear their story. We hear how they started, where they are, where they're going, and the tips and tricks that they can share with us. Because what is communication? What good is it being an entrepreneur if you can't get out there and connect and communicate with others in and around your community? I am a communication expert, a university professor, and the creator of Speak Live Online. I am your show host, and I cannot wait to introduce my guest for you today. She is my dear friend, Cynthia Kuehn. Some of you may know her as the Siren Confidential on social media. She is truly a mover and a shaker. I started following her maybe, I want to say, gosh, maybe 3+ years ago. And in my experience following her, communicating with her, and getting to know her, she is truly one of the most genuinely kind and compassionate souls I know. And I'll have to share a story with you later. But first, let me read a little bit about our dear guest with you today. So, Cynthia she used to be in corporate in medical sales devices, I believe. So she broke from those corporate handcuffs, moved into blogging, a lifestyle blogger, a fashion blogger, and just anything fashion that's hot that you just glue your eyes and you want to see what they're using. She is that go-to person. But she's transitioned into a female empowerment coach, and she helps passionate women become fearless, take massive inspired action, and step into the life of their dreams. And, she's Southern California based. Whoop, whoop. Love my SoCal girls. And she's working, while she was working on her 9 to 5 job, she started the Siren Confidential blog. And some of you, like I said, may know her for that, but she has been up to bigger things in this past year. And I can't wait for Cynthia to share more about who she is, her journey, where she's been, where she's going with you. And with that, Cynthia, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here and a little nervous. It's my first live, so be nice. Woohoo. Yes, thank you so much for having me.
You would never guess. You would never guess. Your stories are epic on Instagram.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That introduction was amazing. So I'm just feeling so warm and fuzzy right now.
So one of the things I mentioned, and I really want you to share some of your story with us, but probably some of you are wondering, how did I meet Cynthia? And how can you call her your dear friend? Well, she is such, like I said, she is genuinely kind, compassionate, very intelligent. Don't let that gorgeous face fool you and that beautiful blonde hair fool you. She is intelligent, deep-souled, and absolutely ambitious, and really supports her females in her life, in and around her, and wants to see them grow. I've been following her for a long time and commenting, and she always commented back. And I kept thinking to myself, how is she such a great communicator? She must get so many messages a day. She does all these different things. She is not just you at the time, you weren't just a lifestyle blogger 3 years ago. And you were doing so many collaborations. You're like a master collaborator. And you had this little side gig and that little side gig and that little side hustle. I was so impressed watching you move throughout your business and your day, but you were so personable every single time we communicated.
Oh, thank you.
And oh, thank you so much. And I don't know, I've shared this with you before, my followers.
Ah, the
My mug,
mug.
my mug. She sent me this fantastic mug and the most beautiful card when when my mom passed away, and we had never met in person. We had our whole relationship over social media, and she did that. And it's it's these small gestures of kindness and communication on a regular basis that start to build a relationship. And one day she was just traveling through Orange County and she said, "Hey, I'm going to be here." And we met up at South of Nix in San Clemente. And I seriously,
Yep.
obviously, I just loved you instantly. I just loved
Oh,
you
well,
instantly.
I felt the feeling is mutual. I've definitely felt the exact same way through all the years that we've known each other. So it was like so amazing to finally get to meet up in person. So
I know, and I can't emphasize enough that you are one of those people that, yeah, for people who follow you online and who see your tips and tricks and hear your fun and funny stories that you share throughout the day with your dating life or little shots and videos with Shiz, because I just love little
oh,
little
just
Shizzle. Yeah, Shiz, her gorgeous cat. I'll let you share a little more about that later. But yeah,
absolutely.
she's just really that person you're that person in person, Cynthia.
Oh, well, thank you. I try to be as authentic. I mean, I know that sometimes you meet up with people and they're not like the same person when you meet in person, and that's never who I've wanted to be. I've always wanted just to be like the most authentic version of myself. So hopefully that translates whenever I meet somebody in person. So I appreciate that.
1000%.
Yeah.
So with that, people kind of get a chance to see you and hear you. I really want for you, because you started out in corporate like
Yep.
most of us,
Mhm.
working the like it was ever 9 to 5. I don't know why people say 9 to 5, working the quote unquote 9 to 5.
More like
Uh
5 a.m. to 8 p.m.
yeah,
But yeah, yep.
pretty much. So what's your origin story? Tell me a little bit about, how you decided to do medical sales, and where you grew up, and what led you to break free from those shackles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to get into it. I'll try to keep it as succinct as possible, but I grew up in Colorado. So I went to school at CSU when I got done, obviously, with high school, and I went to school for nutrition. After that, I don't even think a lot of people know this. I went back to school and got my aesthetic license. So I worked as an esthetician for a year, which I loved, but I actually did not love working in an office all day long. That just wasn't my thing. Like, being in a like closed setting where I wasn't able to get outside. And so I started thinking about different opportunities and things that I could do to put my different passions together. And I started looking at pharmaceutical sales to kind of put like my nutrition together with wanting to, not work in an office or whatever. And so went through the whole like interview process, I think for a year. And I actually ended up just getting experience with Office Depot with the business services division for about, I think 7 or 8 years. I had transferred my job out to San Diego in the middle of that and did really well there. And so I ended up then leaving Office Depot to go to another medical. I actually went into medical sales from there and did that for, I think, 3 to 4 years, and transferred that into my last job, which was a dental sales position. And actually, yeah, so several of those jobs I ended up losing. And the last one, I just started thinking, okay, like, I feel like this is like the universe's way of telling me like there's something better for me, right? Like, what is that saying? Like the universe will keep giving you signs until you actually get you get the clue. Like the universe just keeps knocking and telling you things. And so the last time I got fired from my job back in 2016, I finally was just like, you know what, this is the time that I just need to take what I've built right now with my lifestyle blog, and I had money in savings, and just uh, take it and put my talents to better use from there on out. So that's what I did back in 2016. And I had already started my blog. I think I started that back in 2015. So I did have collaborations going. And so I had some side income with that. And I've always been an online reseller as well. So I had side income coming in from those streams as well. So when I got fired, I honestly was just thinking I actually wasn't even that stressed about it, to be
Yeah.
honest. To be honest, I was like, okay, cool. I think my manager was probably like, okay. And I had been put on a performance plan, so I knew it was coming, and it was, it was what it was. But I just took it as the universe telling me that I had better things to do. So bigger, and more people to serve, which is what I'm doing now. So
That's awesome. And
yeah.
then so you actually had started your side hustle while you were there. What made your interest and desire to start the side hustle? Was it just because you had a hobby or something you enjoyed or
Are you talking about like with eBay and Poshmark or?
yeah,
So,
like 'cause you must have started your blog prior to leaving, correct?
yeah, so I started my blog back in 2015, and to be honest, I actually just started it as uh, just a passion of mine, and I just wanted something like another place where I could connect with women and inspire women out there, and so that I actually just started it for that reason only, not necessarily as like an actual, thinking it was going to be a stream of income. I just wanted to serve women and connect with other women, and hopefully inspire women as well along the way. And so I started that back then, and then that happened with my job in 2016. So I kept doing the lifestyle blog, after that, and along with my Poshmark and eBay, my other side streams, and then back in was it January of last year. I loved all these side things that I was doing, but I felt like it was time for me to actually, I guess, take what I had built with Siren Confidential and move it into something else where I was serving women in a, I guess, more meaningful way to me than talking about just tips and tricks or the latest fashion craze or the latest diet craze or whatever. And so that's when I really started thinking last year, like what I wanted to do and where I wanted to take it. And I know that you and I had talked about that at that time. And I started looking into
Mhm.
different coaching schools that I could get into and certifications. And so that's when I decided to go through certification this past year, and so got that, and then I started coaching back in this past summer, and I really wanted to take the first 6 months of coaching and just kind of see where who I like to serve and who I wanted to coach and what kind of woman I wanted to work with and what kind of environment. And I just really discovered, even though I love working with everyone, I really love working with women who are wanting to build their own businesses, since that's always been a passion of mine. I just really did not like corporate America. It just was not for me. And so that's kind of where my passion and where my coaching is going right now, is working with women that are wanting to break those corporate handcuffs and leave their 9 to 5 to create their own business. So I have that new program that will be releasing here in the next few weeks. So I'm just wrapping up the last few parts of that right now. So
I love that, Cynthia.
yeah.
And one of the things I was going to ask you is that, I know that, like you said, you had like so many different things that you were trying. I remember at one point you thought, wow, I could knit one of those big fluffy rugs that's like $400. And
Yeah.
you went and learned and you did it.
Yeah.
And you sent me some of the sample. You
Yeah.
sent me pictures. How does this look? I thought to myself, wow, that looks amazing. A $500. You just
Yeah.
knitted that? Like,
Yeah.
what, do you sleep?
I actually went to a local course for that, but like I just look at everything like my entire life as an experiment. I always just encourage women to do that too, to not get so serious about everything and just think of every single thing in their life as an experiment. And
Oh,
because
I
when you're
love
just
that.
experimenting with things, you can't ever be disappointed, right? Like for whatever the outcome is, because I think that some women get like too wrapped up in their head about, oh, it's got to be perfect, or it's got to, like, the first version's got to be perfect. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to start and
Right.
think. And like I said, I think that just keeping that in mind, like keeping everything in your head as an experiment and just looking at life as an experiment is really useful.
Right. I
Yeah.
I have a it's kind of random, but perhaps a unique question for
Yeah.
you. Uh, so do you think, because these are the women that you're working with now,
Mhm.
uh, that part of this perfectionism, in addition to our experiences growing up and who we had around us, but part of this need for things to be perfect and things that keep us from trying to do something because we think it might be too hard. could that potentially be because of what the system is in school, college, and in the corporate industry, and how you get rated, how you get ranked every year at your job? Does that lead to also this sort of, I want to say, habit
It could
of
be. I
needing to
mean,
be
and it
perfect?
could be just for some people and not for others. I mean, I definitely have, even though I coach on this, like I still am very perfectionistic about, everything I do too. And I get in my own head about things. And so, I mean, it could be part of that. And how I guess I work through that is just taking small steps every day. And like, even though it may not be, you know, even just like the smallest step, just taking really small steps with everything, single thing will get you out of that space where you're procrastinating or it's like it has to be perfect. And honestly, just putting, I mean, they always say like if you've put your final product out and it's perfect, like you've launched something too late. So, and I definitely think that that's true.
That is
So,
so
but
true.
I
That
don't
is
know
so
if
true.
that
And
answered your question or not.
no, you definitely answered my question. And also I wanted to say hi to Karen, who's watching the live broadcast. Hi, Karen. She said hi to both
Hi,
of us,
Karen.
Cynthia. And she wanted to comment and said that what you said before about, just don't be afraid to be, don't worry about being perfect. Take those risks. She said that's fantastic advice. And I agree, Karen. So
Thank you.
I agree. We all need to remember that, write it down on the wall, put it on a sticky. It doesn't need to be perfect. Even I need to say that to myself from time to time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. But so you'd mentioned that you have how you do this is by taking tiny steps, and you have some tips and some tactics that you do. Are there any of those that you could share with us today?
Absolutely. So something I do, and I don't know, you've probably seen me say this on my stories a million times, but I use actually Chalene Johnson's push journal, not an ad, just something that I love. But
That we all know how much I love Shalene since we've
yeah,
been friends for like 8 years of my life.
yeah, both huge Chalene fans, I know. So something that I do that I think has tremendously helped me, and something that I have coached my students in doing too, is every night before I go to bed, because I think it's very important to plan the next day before the next day starts, is I will set 3 personal and also 3 business goals that I want to like, or just even like small, tasks that I want to complete the next day. So before I do anything else, those are the first 6 things that I work on in the morning, which is probably why I have not been on stories. I used to get on stories super early in the morning, and now I just really focus on knocking out those 6 things to get me ahead first thing in the morning every day when I get up. So I think that's important to do.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. That's one of the things I like to do too. I have my top, actually it's like 1 to 3 things on my list.
Yeah.
And after I do my morning routine as well, because I know you have your morning routine,
Hmm.
I when I sit down to attack those things, that's exactly what I do.
Yep. Yep. And turn your phone on airplane mode,
Oh
work
yeah.
straight through.
I don't
And
even have my phone in the room when I do it.
oh, good for you. I mean, that's even better. Turn it off, put it out of the room, whatever. But yeah, so like airplane mode, I also love like this little time block cube that you can get on Amazon.
Oh,
And you just,
obsessed. It's
yeah.
on my wish list.
Oh, well, I'm like, girl, get you one for your next birthday.
I know. Oh my god, I know. It's around the corner. I love that time block. You've shared that on your stories. Share a little bit more about that with
Yeah,
our
I've probably
audience.
shared this so many times. Like people are probably like tired of hearing about this life hack, but I have it's called the Daytex Time Cube, DATEXX. Get it on Amazon. I think it's like $9 or something like that. But there's different time increments on here, and so you can just set it. Like, say you want to set it for 30 minutes, you set it for 30 minutes, and then like I said, put my phone on airplane mode, work all the way through whatever I'm doing, and whenever that beeps, then I'll get up, usually take a 5 or 10 minute break, and then move on to my next task. So that's definitely been, I think, crucial for me in getting those tasks done early in the morning. Is just
Yeah.
planning them the night before, time blocking, and then airplane mode. Definitely will help. I think get you ahead versus like like just not having any of those things in place and kind of like willy-nilly going through like your day and trying to figure out like when you're going to put these things in. And also I will schedule my entire day. Once I have those tasks done, I'll schedule out the entire next part of my day through time blocking as well in here. So pretty much my entire day is usually time blocked. So
I love it. And that's very similar to the time blocking, and then it sort of incorporates some of the Pomodoro method
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yep.
And
Yeah, pretty much
I
the same thing or very similar as the Pomodoro method. So I love that too.
I find that successful in the way that the first time, and I don't know if you know this, but have you ever noticed that the busier you are, I hate that word busy. I'm actually using productive in its
Oh, I like
place.
that. Yeah, better.
That the more productive you are, that the more precise and planned we need to be with our time. And when we do that, we end up wasting less time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Definitely agree with that. Yeah. So it's all about, I think, just putting those systems in place. And once you have those in place and you can make it a habit, that's a game changer for sure. So.
And so Karen, who's watching us now, she was actually addressing something we were talking about previously about what we learn in school and how it affects our expectations as we get older. And she
Mhm.
was writing this wonderful thought that what if students didn't strive for and expect for 100% on everything?
Mhm.
And oftentimes when I grade papers, I don't love 100% either. I feel that it means that there's no room for growth.
Yeah.
Then what's the point? Why are they That's such a great concept and idea, Karen. It's I feel like people, entrepreneurs, especially women, people like you, Cynthia, that are out there, and like you, Karen, is that part of what we're trying to do is unlearn the stuff that's holding us back, the stuff that we've learned as we've grown up, whether that's at home, in society, in school or college. And I'm pro
Mhm.
education, but I do feel like things are evolving now. People are evolving. The way we learn and grow shouldn't be stagnated by a ceiling.
Yeah.
And we should all be lifelong learners. And once you graduate, you shouldn't be done.
Yeah, no, I think
Or
that's the beginning. That's the beginning of everything. But yeah,
yes,
no, I like to say I'm like a student of life too. Like I love, like I'm a huge podcast junkie. I'm always putting like my favorite podcasts on my stories every day. And I try to read a book once a week, at least once. If I'm not doing it every week, every other week, where I'm finishing at least 2 books a month, and love
great.
Audible. So I definitely think like when you stop learning, that's when you start dying. So I'm
I
always
agree.
trying to soak up every single bit of knowledge as possible. So yep, agree
And
with you on that.
and also another way that we can push ourselves, another way that we can push ourselves is by taking a course, getting mentoring, getting coaching and it's not that sometimes I feel that it's not that I'm surprised when people say, well, the person is just telling me what I already know. And I think to myself sometimes, I said, well, if you already knew that, then why aren't you doing it? So
Yeah.
sometimes when you have a coach, they see it, and when they say it, then it's bringing what you know to the forefront,
Hmm.
and then they're giving you homework before the next coaching call or meeting or what have you, and you're forced to actually take action on it. So would you say that coaching, in a way that you found even from your own experience getting coaching and training, provides a level of accountability?
Yeah, and I think there's obviously different styles of coaching, right? So there's like the consulting side, or there are like the traditional coaches that will ask just a series of questions that think that you always have the answer within you. I I'm probably lean more towards the consulting side and then allow the student to also kind of figure out things on their own too, because I like a mix of both of those things.
Mhm.
But I
Now,
think
why do you think that's important for students to also figure things out on their own and not you
because
just giving them all the answers all the time?
Yeah, to answer that question, because I think that if you are just giving somebody answers all the time, like once your coaching is over and even throughout the coaching process, they're not going to have those tools necessary at the end of the process to be able to do it on their own. So I think it's definitely important that they're able to almost like, like I'm teaching them how to self coach. So like with my new coaching coming out, whether they, go into the job that they're thinking they're going to do now, or they want to recreate this whole process down the road, like I'm going to give them the tools necessary to be able to do this on their own afterwards. And so I think that that's what I like to do as a coach versus just giving somebody, here's what you need to do, because then if they try to do it on their own later, they're not going to be able to recreate it as much as if they're, doing it their way around. So does that make sense?
100%. It's
Okay.
like you're trying to, the saying, you give a man a fish, or you give a woman a fish,
Yes.
she
Yes.
eats for
Thank
a
you.
day.
Yes.
You teach a woman to fish, and she'll know how to feed. You'll
Yep.
feed her. She'll be able to feed herself for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
You're basically teaching
I'm
people how
teaching
to
them how to
fish.
fish. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. I love that idea, and I feel like, for me personally, because I've had quite a lot of coaching and mentoring as well, that but having both helps. Some things I just want to know, and some things I like to be able to learn on my own so that I can
Hmm.
do it myself later. But if it's, I just need a link for this.
Yeah.
It's like
And yeah. And honestly, sometimes because I've actually worked with coaches that are the opposite, where they're like, you have everything within you. And sometimes I'm like, actually, you don't have everything within. Like, I don't think that you know everything. Otherwise, like, you wouldn't be working with me. So I do give my students the tools and tricks, to get there, but also let them figure it out on their own so they can recreate that. So I think
right.
like for me, that's like, I guess the sweet spot for me is where it's at, but everybody has like their own different coaching styles. So
Right, right.
mhm.
I think that's a good spot to have. That's kind of what, like I said, what I like as far as coaching. So, any other really cool tips or tricks you want to share, Cynthia?
Oh gosh. Like I said, the push journal, my time blocking. I think again, just
Is
uh,
there is there anything new that you've been using in 2020?
ooh, I've been doing well as far as like the night before. I'll lay out everything now, like that I need for the next day. So I have my push journal all filled out. I have like my vitamins that are on top of my push journal. I have my clothes laid out for the next day. I have my workouts laid out. I have basically my schedule laid out for the next day. And then I'm getting back in more into meditation. I was doing that a lot last year and just kind of like fell out of that at the beginning of the year. But I definitely think that it's very important to, whether it's like journaling in the morning, I have like 5 different prompts that I use that I'm getting back into, where I'll actually sets me up for my day and like, what do I want to achieve for that day? And then I kind of circle back around that to answer some questions at the end, like what I want to celebrate at the end of the day, what I want to celebrate myself for, because I think that that's important as well, to celebrate yourself and your successes
I
throughout the day.
love it.
Because I feel like sometimes, and even, students that I'm working with or clients, they get to their end goal and they feel disappointed. And it's because they haven't taken the time throughout throughout their journey to celebrate those small wins and, to celebrate their successes. So I definitely think that it's important to celebrate those small successes along the way. But, so tying that back in is just, my journaling in the morning, meditate. I'll do like a small meditation after that, listen to like a inspiring song while I'm doing my journaling, because I love having the music behind that. And I think also on Sunday nights, I have like a manifesting worksheet that I'll fill out to kind of set my tone for the week.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, have I
So
not
you
sent
do
you?
almost a weekly manifest before the week?
Do you not have my manifestation worksheet,
I
girl?
need to download your worksheet.
I'm
Will
gonna
you will will you give me the link so that I could
I
share it at the
I
end?
yes, yeah, I will send it to you. And well, it's actually was gonna be an opt-in. So if anyone wants it, they can just shoot me a
Oh, great.
DM
Yeah,
on
just
Instagram.
I'll definitely share that in here. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's an awesome.
Weekly, I never thought of that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I do intention set. I started doing intention setting, but I like the idea of, because you have your manifestations for the year. We do the
Mhm.
vision boarding, but I love the idea of a weekly.
Yeah, and I do it every Sunday night, so it's kind of like just become a little routine for me. So I will get, personally for me, like I get a little glass of champagne or a little glass of wine. I set the mood because I have to have like the mood's got to be right. So I'll light some candles, just kind of like get in my like cozy outfit and just, you know, write whatever comes to mind. I mean, it's pretty much like laid out on there, like what I want to manifest and bring in for the week and my intentions. And it also has like what I want to consume for content, like whether it's podcasts or books or things like that. So basically that's kind of my routine on Sunday nights, as well as filling out my manifestation worksheet. So that's something else that I do. But I also will, beyond that, plan out my, my days, as like far as like what I want to do for exercise and things like that. And kind of what my days are going to look like for work throughout the week. So I have a rough outline of what my week's going to look like ahead of time.
I that's fantastic, Cynthia. So you did mention that you do celebrate your small wins.
Mm-hmm.
What is one thing you'll do to celebrate?
Oh gosh. Well, we both love massages, right? I know that you.
I had mine yesterday.
Yeah. I saw that. I was so jealous. So I love more than like facials. I know some girls love facials, or they'll get their nails done, or they'll go shopping. I'm not much, to be honest. Like, I'm just not much of a shopper, even though people think that. But I love, love, love massages. The little Asian massage places, which we both know are the best.
They're the best.
Yeah. So I'll go get a massage to celebrate, a win. And that's something else that I'll like actually put on if I hit my goal for the week. Like, I'll go do like on a Friday or Saturday whenever I hit that goal. If it's like something, business related, or just something that I've set for my week to look ahead to. Because you've always got to have those little things that you're setting yourself up for, that you're looking forward to going and doing once you hit your goals. So.
Yeah, that's totally a must do. And so I'm getting a delay on the comments, but I just want to back up a teeny bit.
Yeah.
Karen is really excited about the manifestation worksheet.
Oh.
So I just want to let Karen know that we're going to share the link to it. It's going to be an opt-in, but she'll be able to opt in and then download the worksheet, or maybe you email the worksheet. And
anyone,
because I'm going to get it too.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you. Yeah, anybody that wants it can actually just shoot me a DM through Instagram at the Siren Confidential, and I will email it to you guys directly.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing, is that some of our viewers, which is why I love sharing on YouTube and Facebook, is some of our viewers are not on Instagram a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, they can just shoot me an email, hello at the Siren Confidential.
Okay, cool.
Just let me know in the subject line that you guys want my manifestation worksheet, and I will send it over to you guys.
And she's really good about, you're so good about getting back to your DMs. I mean, you're really fast.
Sometimes I'm too good about getting back to my DMs lately. Yeah. I did have those blocked out too, where I would only do, 6, and I would do it like check them in the morning, once at noon and once in the evening. And I've kind of gotten off of that, but that's also something that I was
wondering, I'm like, you're so fast right now.
Yeah.
No, I do the same thing. I block my, like, you'll see it's like Ellie's not on Instagram.
Yeah. I need to get better about that. I've been with kind of redoing my coaching program the past, month, and just kind of being out of my routine, I guess my normal routine that I was in. I've gotten away from that, and I've been probably too efficient with getting back to DMs lately, but I'm definitely going back to just doing the time blocking. So it just feels less chaotic and feels more organized and structured. And I like that a lot better. So yeah.
That's awesome.
You won't be hearing from me as frequently.
That's okay. I don't mind. It's okay. I'm not on all the time anyway. Especially when the husband is home, I'm not.
Yeah. You were really good about shutting off, and that's something that I definitely admire about you, that I know that you're like, if I'm off, you're just, you're connected to whoever you're connected to, and I love that.
Thank you. It's from years of self-abuse in PR and doing public relations, where I couldn't be off.
Yeah. And
it took a toll on me, and I was so much younger. I was in my 20s.
Oh, wow.
And it took a toll on me. I was always on my pager.
Oh, your pager?
My pager was always on.
That's awesome.
I didn't have a cell phone back then.
Like 555 Ellie.
It's so embarrassing. I didn't get a cell phone until after. In fact, towards the end of that PR job, my boss gave me a cell phone because he said, you have to have a cell phone.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, I don't want to be tethered to this thing. It just seemed evil.
Oh my gosh, I love you. That's so funny.
Yeah, my husband and I were really good about, actually, when we go to dinners and stuff, if my phone is with me, it's just for pictures because I don't have a camera, but my phone's on airplane mode. So,
Yeah, no, you are good about turning off. So I need to soak back up some of your good
right.
habits with that because I've definitely gotten out of that lately, which, you know,
Yeah,
I always
it's
feel frantic when I'm having to like respond to DMs throughout the day, but then it's like that little adrenaline fix I think that you get from doing that too. So
oh,
yeah.
I know. But going back to I used to feel like this was a bad thing to not be so responsive right away. I felt like if someone asks me something, I need to respond right away.
Mhm.
But the truth of the matter is if you are responding within 24 to 48 hours, you're good.
And I almost think, I guess, an addendum to that, like I actually feel like people respect you more when you or you're like setting a boundary with the person because you know if somebody messages you and you write back within like 10 minutes, they're going to expect that. So you're almost like setting a boundary when you do like take your time to write back. And I always get back to mine at least, you know, once a day. So it's not usually 24 to 48 hours, but I feel like you're setting yourself up for success too when you have those boundaries in place with people right from the beginning. So,
I agree. And even if people just as a communication share, even if people don't like to talk about the word boundaries, which we should start to feel comfortable with the word boundaries. It's not even for me, I try to look at it because I'm an obliger. I'm a people pleaser, recovering
mhm.
people pleaser. I will like to share that, I'll just tell myself it's not about making those boundaries. It is about training and sharing with people when you will get back to them, what times of the day you check your emails, what times of the day
Mhm.
you respond to things, when you're on, when you're off, if you're not around on the weekends, like after a while, people get to know when to communicate with you. So
Mhm.
you're just sharing with them, hey, this is the best time to reach out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's important to do. And especially, yeah, like right from the beginning, especially just what you said. You know, I think that that's really important. And people, like I said, I think people really respect that, or respect your time, and it feels better. At least for me, it feels better setting that right up front. So, thank you for reminding me that I need to get back into that again. Thank you.
I'm just doing it to be nice.
Love it.
Even though I probably say those things to you anyways, sometimes when we're chatting back and forth, I love that with you. You're brutally, beautifully honest about feedback, and you're
Sometimes too honest. Hmm.
no, but but you're too honest in a good way,
Oh,
right? I would just say in a good way, uh, and I think that's really, really important. I'm gonna actually let me put your email address up here. So if you do not have Instagram and you're not following the Siren Confidential, make sure you are. If you're on Instagram or pretty much anywhere on social media, you're at the Siren Confidential.
hmm,
And then I have your email address in here. It's hello at the sirenconfidential.com. Super
you got
easy.
it.
And she'll send you the manifestation worksheet. Now, one of the things that I always ask my awesome guests is how what communication means to them. Like how in your heart do you define communication?
I think we were talking about this before. Like, did you want the actual definition?
Yeah, I know,
No.
that actually was so cute. She's like, "Did you want the actual definition? Do people give that?" I'm like, "Nah, that's okay."
Having a blonde moment, you know?
No, you're so
Um,
not yeah, okay. You're so cute that you say that, but you're wickedly smart. I'm
oh
just
gosh.
putting that out there.
Yeah, no, for me, communication is everything. I mean, right? If you don't have communication with your clients or in business or in your personal life, you literally have nothing. And so communication to me, I would say, is everything.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially when relationships are just 1,000% part of what grow us.
Hmm.
And you can't build or have relationships without any kind of communication.
Yeah. And
You know,
everybody's
whether that's with a guy or a girl or a client or your family or friends. And like I said, you're fantastic. You're extraordinary at it. you notice when I'm not online for a while, which is how you found out about my mom's situation long before even most of my closest friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, we obviously also communicate all the time. So yeah, I'm still trying to get up to your level of communication, but slowly and surely getting there.
What are you talking about? You're way better than I. Sometimes I look and I went, "Oh my gosh, it's been 2 days, I have not replied."
Yeah.
Like, no, you're fantastic. Don't
Oh,
don't be fooled. You're amazing.
thank
You'd
you.
be a great actually, I consider you a great example of someone on social who is not using bots and all these things. Like, I know when a bot is posting to me and or replying to me or sending me messages, and you are you. And you're not a small person out there in the social media world, even though you may not think that you're not, but you're incredible. You made such a difference for so many women. We have some mutual friends, Melissa, my gumball love
Hmm.
friend, who you've
Love
been
Melissa.
podcast,
Yeah.
and just like everyone I know knows you.
I feel like social media has become a very small world. Like where a lot of us in this space are connected. I mean, that just obviously proves like what they say. There's like a two degrees of separation out there, right? Or 6 degrees or something. But yeah, I feel like especially of the online community on Instagram, you just end up knowing all the same people. It's very strange, but I love that too. I love that's something that I've really enjoyed about Instagram and the community since, I know since we started. I know that some people are, can get frustrated with Instagram or whatever, but I just look at the friendships and connections that I've created, and it's just such an amazing thing. So,
And Karen says, I know her now too. I know because
Karen.
I've shared so much about Cynthia on Instagram in the stories all the time. And it doesn't make it to Facebook because I only do my lives on Facebook. I have to get better at sharing my stories on my Facebook page so you guys can see what I'm doing throughout the day. And actually, Cynthia Karen, I've known, she's actually been a guest on the show as well.
Oh,
She's
very
her
cool.
both her and her husband are entrepreneurs, and I've known her since, I don't know, where were we, 6 years old, 7 years old, maybe younger, for many years.
Wow. Wow, that's
A long
awesome.
time.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
because
that's
we were
amazing.
entrepreneurs way back then. No, I'm
Oh,
joking. No.
still on your lemonade at the lemonade stands.
I know we didn't do that, but we did dance in the park and put on, like, makeup dance shows and
Oh, that's
perform
awesome.
to walker buyers.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Passer buyers. I don't know, we had some good times back then.
Aw, oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
But, so before we sign off, what is the biggest thing on your heart now? I have a feeling it's your coaching program.
Yes,
And
super excited.
please share what's next on your plate. What's the biggest thing you're excited about coming?
Yeah, so I think that is the biggest thing on my heart right now. I mean, I have been in the works of creating it now for, oh my gosh, well, since January. I have the perfectionistic thing that I'm still trying to get over myself. So I've just,
But you have been coaching and you have been working with women. So it's not like you didn't do what you said earlier. You didn't wait for it to be perfect when it came out, because I
yeah,
know you've been coaching over the past 2019 through
yeah.
2019.
Yep. You just got to dive in. I said I'd dive in, see who I wanted to work with and what felt good. And that's what I did. And so now I'm redefining that a little bit, niching down into what feels good and kind of on my heart and the women that I feel like I can affect the most. And so I'm just really excited to announce that here. My goal is next week to actually announce it on an Instagram post and go live. I actually have discovery calls set up for that already. So I'm very excited about starting to work with women on creating, the business of their dreams, and along with that, their life's purpose. So yeah, so I'm just super excited about that and ready for that new journey.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That
Thank you.
that's amazing. And these women are going to be very, very lucky because once you leave corporate, very few people go back. There is nothing
It's
harder and more amazing than being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that you have it right with that. But yeah, I mean, I never say never. I would say, and leaving corporate America and having your own business or being an entrepreneur is not for everyone, right? But I feel
Right.
like for the people that it is, there's nothing like it once you started your business. So I'm just so excited to work with women that are passionate about getting out, and yeah, it's going to be great. So super excited.
Fantastic. Well, any fun fact you want to share about yourself?
Oh
Anything that
gosh,
people don't know that they may not see on your IG stories?
I've never seen Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that you got to add this to your
that's
to-do
that's a,
list.
that's a dumb fun fact, right? Like I don't
Well,
know.
no, but everybody, how can you have not seen Pulp
I
Fiction?
don't know. I've just never seen Pulp Fiction, so it's like that's the only thing I could think of off the top of my head right now. So
Okay, that's all.
yeah,
That's all right. That's all right.
I don't know. I
So
don't know if that's a fun fact, but that's a fact.
that is a fact, but I might know a fun fact. You grew up in Colorado,
That's fun. Yeah, I love to ski. So um,
so skier.
skier train. Well, I actually just rebooked my Mammoth trip, so I'm going up to Mammoth. I love. Oh, a fun fact, I guess I would say, is I love to travel solo, which some people think is really weird, but I've been kind of. I mean, I guess I would call myself a little bit of a loner since I was even in like elementary, junior high school, and I just love to do solo trips. That's where I go, and I feel like just refresh, come back, and it's also besides yoga where I get my like all of my inspiration. Like I think you and I were talking, and when we were messaging back and forth, you were saying how when you go, you go away or you leave your house or you just get out of like the environment that you're in and you get out into like a fresh new environment, that's for me too. Like that's where a lot of my best ideas come from. So I love to take, solo trips and get that kind of, I guess, refreshing energy and those downloads again. So not that I don't love to travel with people. I do that too, but I just, I don't know. There's just something empowering about solo travel. So, and
Yeah,
always telling my single girlfriends or even any girl to go out and try it at least once. So,
I've also solo traveled. Having been single for a number of years before I met my husband, I've traveled by myself. I loved Valentine's. I would go to the theater, performing arts center, and watch the ballet, and I totally enjoyed it.
yeah,
I
yeah. There's
totally enjoyed it. I don't know. I just knew someday I would have someone in my life, but I wanted to get to know myself before I just give so much to someone else. And the more you travel, the best way to learn about to like grow and learn about another person in a relationship is to travel with them. It's the same thing if you travel with yourself.
hmm Yeah, and I feel like that's how we're able to give back to other people is when you're connected. You're really, really connected to yourself and know yourself inside and out, and you're able to give yourself, everything to your. I mean, you're not waiting for somebody else to give you anything. You go out and create the life that you love on your own terms. So
Yeah.
it's always
I
been super important. So I love that you love to travel solo too. So
Yeah,
good
I
for
love it. I love it. I now the only time I really travel solo is when I am on my way to meet my husband somewhere.
you. That's okay. That's okay. Well, I feel like
And
you
people will tell me this is the weirdest thing. People will tell me, they're like, "Oh, are you oh, you're traveling by yourself?"
they feel bad for you, and you're
Yeah,
like,
I think
yeah,
that's so weird.
yeah. A lot of people do. Like a lot of
Why
people don't get
why
it, or
is
they're
that
like,
weird that I'm traveling by myself? It's cool.
yeah, I know. It's not again, it's not for everyone, but I think like once you do it one time, like I don't know, it's just there is just something so empowering about doing it that you just want to. I don't know. For me, like I just want to keep doing it like at least a few times a year. That's
Yeah.
my goal is to have a solo trip by myself. So yeah, so that's yes, I've got that on the calendar back again. So excited to get some skiing in the next few weeks. So hopefully the snow's good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I just have to say thank you so much, Cynthia, for just being my guest today. It's such an honor. I adore you to pieces. Karen, thank you for joining us live watching, and I
Oh,
want to thank all of our
time timer's
broadcasters.
up.
Oh, time's up. I want to thank all of our broadcasters or everybody for watching the rebroadcast. Thank you for watching our show. Please, all of you, make sure that you email or DM Cynthia. You can either email her at hello@thesirenconfidential.com or find her on Instagram at the Siren Confidential and get that manifestation worksheet so you can do her download.
It will change your lives. And we could all just do we could do like a thing where we just all do it on Sunday nights
I
and,
love that.
send each other virtual wine cheers to
Ooh,
our
I
weeks ahead.
love that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
let's do it. Wine
cheers.
cheers.
Thank you
So
so much,
thank you so much for
everyone.
having me. I appreciate it and love it. I've been so excited to come on your show. So thank you so much for having me on, and I adore you as well.
Thank you, everyone. We wish you communication for success, health, and happiness. Ciao for now.
Bye, guys.